So this is your first session. We're going to go through a little bit of housekeeping with you before we actually start the session today. Firstly, it's about you. So it's important that you're aware that you are doing a move more falls prevention session. We're going to put over to you common sense around the space around you in terms of your health and safety. We don't want you to trip. We're not in the same room as you. So it's really important that you take into consideration the space around you. And that includes things like rugs, trip hazards, a cable where you've got your laptop or your whatever you're watching us on, any of those things that you could possibly trip over. We learned things like waving. So wave, please. Right? Okay. So if you need to communicate with us, you start there, waving and get our attention, because there's 3 of us at the moment watching you. So there's Pat, myself, and there's Nick, who's waving now in the big gallery. Lovely. Okay, so that's the 3 of us. Also, when it comes to health and safety, we think of things like water. So if you're thirsty, have a drink. But also if you're tired, it's okay to rest out. We don't expect you all to progress at the same levels. We want you to have a fun and enjoyable session, and we want you to come on a journey with us. So we'll work together and you communicate how you're feeling. I know some of you wanted to wear leotards today. This is as close as you're getting with us. Now, we want you to hear us and to see us. This is also recorded, which means that in your own time, you can play this back over the week and practice. So you don't have to do all of it in one sitting. When you're at home, you can do little bits that you enjoy maybe. So that's the first bit. Now, this is funded through Public Health, and we will be with you on this journey for the next 25, 26 weeks. In the upcoming weeks, in certainly the next couple of months, there will be quite a few bank holidays coming up. So what we're going to do is move the days, and we will be delivering from our studio or from our other site, which is at the Chaos Studios, and we'll be delivering from there from you. None of that is relevant other than the fact that we'll send you the dates of when we're going to do it next. It's okay to be not okay, and it's okay to do what you can, because this is all about trying to keep you steady on your feet. So without further without further ado, we're going to get going. Notepads and pens, always bring it with you. So you've got to keep your own diary of your experience on this journey, and always share with us. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you to Pat.
Thank you. So Helen's covered all of it, I think, bar if you are feeling well today, then feel free to join in everything. If, for example, you don't feel so well on a certain day, sit down and rest, and don't feel that you have to kind of match what you did the week before. So take each week as it comes and let us know before the class, before the session, if you're feeling unwell or if you're not able to come because you had a fall, for example. Do let us know. So we're going to run through some assessments. Now, some of you will have done them. They're attached to, they're part of the forms that we send out. Some of you haven't been able to do it, and some of you might just want to watch how we do it, okay, and do it in your own time. So there's 2 assessments. We do it at the beginning of the sessions or the beginning of the day when you're cold, as we say, you've not warmed up. And what is it? So the first one is a sit to stand test. Now we can do that now. So we will time you, time me, and I'll show you how to do it. So either watch or join in. What you need to do is sit down properly, stand up properly with your hands across your chest and count. So we start from a standing position. If you can't do it, don't worry. Then we just say you're unable to do it at this time. Okay, so I'm just going to get my phone and we'll count. So we're going to step away from the chair just enough so that you can sit down comfortably. And I'll count you down from 3 so that you have time to start safely. If you can only manage 1 or 2, then that's fine. But see how you get on. So, starting from the top, hands across your chest, or just lower. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go.
You keep going. You keep going. See how many you can do. Well done. Keep going.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clock that number.
How many did you do? Write it down.
And have a little rest. And we repeat this at the end of the session, at the end of the course. You can repeat it at home if you want to see how you get on. I know some of you do anyway. So I'll give you a moment to write that down and recover while I explain the next one. So there's only 2 that we do. The next one is a 180-degree turn, so half a circle. And you can use frames or sticks or unaided, but you need to let us know if you're using any equipment. So just watch first, so don't start yet, don't join in yet. So I'm away from my chair. And I'm just going to count how many steps it takes me to turn to face my chair. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. That's the number we want.
That's not the number. They don't have to do it in 4.
No, you don't need to do it in 4. But if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, your number is 6. It might be 10. It shouldn't be 1 because you're doing a pirouette. So safely. So do you want to give it a try? If you've already done it at home, you don't need to do it today. That's fine. I know some of you wanted to try it today.
So how many steps does it take to turn 180 degrees? It's not a trick. Lovely.
And then when you've done it, you can sit down.
Can we have a thumbs up? Lovely, lovely. Well done.
Done? Brilliant. So you can either email them, well, just email it to us, yeah. Let us know what your numbers are. Scores on the doors.
So the numbers so far would be a sit to stand.
Yeah.
And then the second lot would be how many steps it took to turn 180 degrees. They're the 2 numbers that you would have recorded today. Cool.
Do it later if you need to, that's fine. So let's get going. First of all, so we're starting from basics. We know some of you have been with us for a while, but we're going to start back from basics. And we're going to start with our lovely posture. Everything's lovely. Feet are a bit wider than your hips, and we'll say this a lot. Feet wider than hips. That's your most steady position to be in. Even sitting, because if your feet are together and you kind of reach down for something, you might wobble. Whereas if your feet are wider, you've got something to press down on. So, first of all, we're going to come away from the back of the chair, and that's called a hip walk. So, I'm going to rock to one side, and lift up my bottom and move it forwards. Lift the other side, move it forwards, and move it forward. So you come to about the front third of your chair. And then we're going to look at posture. So some of us sit rounded, or if you've been on a laptop or reading your phone or a newspaper or knitting for a while, you'll be in a slouched position. So we need to think about lifting up. So we pull up through the belly, up, imagining the belly button just lifting away from the pubic bone. Okay, lift up through the belly, up to the diaphragm, to the ribs, and then lift up through the chest, and then open out across the chest and the collarbones. How does that feel? And then pull the belly in a little bit. But you have to breathe, because what happens is you go like that. So breathe away. And for some people, this will be quite a lot of work. It will be quite tiring if you've not been used to sitting like this. It's fine to always come back, and we call this resting position. So you can come back to a full back rest, and then we come back to the full posture, to a lovely posture. Now, what happens sometimes is that as we sit up, you tend to stick your bottom out. So tuck your bottom under a little bit, okay? And then we're going to work on the shoulders. So drop your hands down by your side, and we're going to just lift those shoulders up to your ears and gently drop down smoothly. So we need to look after our joints, so we never kind of just drop them down. We lift and lower them down, pressing them almost away from your ears. And keep breathing. And this is the start of your warm up, your circulation boost, lifting up and lowering, lifting up and lowering. So hopefully, if you got the memo, you're on a dining room type of chair. So a nice sturdy chair.
Colette, are you okay, sweetheart?
Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Oh, that feels quite nice, doesn't it? And then we're going to come to foot camera, and we're going to lift the heels one at a time. So lift one heel, pop it down, lift the other, pop it down. And then when you've got that movement, you can just add a little bit of speed. You don't have to, none of this work has to be at speed. It's slow, purposeful. We'd rather you just did a few movements with really good technique, doing it properly, than just kind of doing it for the sake of it. So then we're going to start really lifting the heel up, dropping it, really lifting that other heel up, dropping it down, lift and drop, lift and drop. And this pushes the blood flow from your feet up through your calves, which we call your second heart, to your thighs, your heart, your lungs, oxygen around your brain, around your body. So you need to keep breathing. If at any time you feel a bit dizzy, then just take your feet down, just small movements, and wiggle your toes, okay? Lovely. So we're going to come back to the shoulders. We're going to make a shoulder circle. So lift the shoulders up to the ears again. Send the elbows behind you. Press the hands down and then into that circle. I'm going to come to the side to show you what it looks like from the side. So rolling them back and down. And if you haven't kind of been very mobile already, if you just got out of bed, sometimes that'll be crunchy, or if you've got issues going on with your shoulders, you might be crunchy or clunky, but hopefully not painful. And this can feel quite nice when we've warmed up. So what are we doing in our circulation boost? We're warming up all the fluid in and around your joints to get your joints moving in a better way. And we're warming up the muscles.
I'm just checking that Colette's okay. Can I have a thumbs up? You can come off mute if you want to, my darling.
Lift and roll. Lift and roll. And also check which sides. Do they feel even? Have you got some discomfort in one side? For me, this side feels a bit tighter than the other side. If you've been out gardening, then you might need to do this for a bit longer. So at any point, if you want to carry on with one particular movement, feel free to do that. Back to the heels now. So back to feet and lifting and lowering the heels.
So sometimes we're going to chop off Pat's head.
Fine.
just so we can see your feet and make sure that you can follow that beautifully. So you don't have to do it with speed, you can take your time, but think about really getting as much movement out of your ankles as possible. This will become such a big part of everything you do.
Okay, that's the law. Okay, so we're going to take our feet a little bit wider again, hands come down by our sides, and then we're going to lean to one side. Use the muscles in your belly to pull you up, and come to the other side. Lean down, pull up, 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 rest at the top, lean down to the other side. So we're working into the ribs, the waist, and keep breathing, because what happens is you go, and then you breathe. Okay, so no holding your breath today. Well, ever. Don't hold your breath. We need oxygen to help your muscles to work. We don't want you to feel dizzy. So just a few of these, as if you were picking something up off the floor, and we're going right to the side.
So it's like you sat on a loo and the loo roll is falling on the floor and you need to pick it up.
And then we're going back to feet. So into the heel march. So this is your heel march, and we always come back to that. So if ever you're struggling with any bit, just come back to a heel march. Heel pump. So lift and lift. Excellent. And then we're coming to rotation. So moving from side to side. So we're going to cross our hands, cross our arms, just hold on around your elbows. And I'll show you another option in a moment. So feet stay nice and still, knees stay there. Don't move your knees. And we're just going to take a turn to one side and just let your eye gaze follow that movement. Now, if you can't hold on properly or you need an alternative, you can take the hand, support the hand, and just allow one elbow to come behind. And this is what we would call a little passive movement, helping one arm that isn't so mobile. Now, drop your shoulders down and just feel that stretch through the ribs, around the waist, and check what your knees are doing. So we don't want your knees coming in, okay, because we get less of a stretch through the waist and the ribs. Keep breathing. You're doing really well. And hold it there.
Less head turning, more rib turning. So
Shall we do it again?
yeah.
Okay, let's do it again.
Less neck.
Hold on. Your head should stay in the middle of your arms, okay? So it won't be a big movement. We don't expect you to look over your shoulder. So watch me if you need to. It's just a turn. And actually it feels quite tight through your waist, through the bottom of your ribs, especially if you're keeping your knees nice and still. Okay, so head stays in line, in the middle of your chest, your chin, and how does that feel? That might feel that you're stretching through your waist even more, which is the whole idea. Okay, it's not a neck stretch or a neck warm up at the moment. Fabulous. So hopefully you can feel the difference there. Back to your heel march. How are you? Thumbs up. So that's good. Thumbs up. Thumbs in the middle is, I'm all right. Thumbs down. Oh, I'm feeling a bit dodgy, or I'm feeling unwell, or that hurts.
Today is a learning day. So if we're not quite set up with the tech, it's okay. If you're unfamiliar with some of the movements, it's okay. Today is really about test and learn, and you feeling more confident with us as your trainers.
You've got a squeak going on somewhere. Okay, so we're going to come right down to feet. So this is one of my favorite movements. And we're going to go heel toe, okay? So just wait for my camera person. So I'm going to work on one leg, but the other leg needs to be your stabilizing leg. So it's no good having it in here, because when I start doing this, you might wobble. So wider, forwards. Give it a try. Just maybe lift that leg up and see how steady you feel before you move this other leg. So it looks like heel, lift the knee, and you're trying to get the toe on that spot. So the same spot, heel, and it might mean you move your foot forwards a little bit, heel and toe, and it's quite a big movement through the front of the foot when I squeeze the toes up and I point the toes down, and it's quite a squeeze into the Achilles, into the back of the heel. But why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want you to be able to step safely, strongly, and the only way you can do that is by having a good range of movement. I'll show you from the side in the ankle. So if you need to work on this a lot longer, then that's fine. And actually, if you struggle with this, then this is one of the movements you should be practicing at home for your homework. How does that feel? So you can always write this in your book. You know, you might say, oh, this side feels quite good. Can you press down? Can you spread your toes out, for example? Or is it stiff and painful? Let's swap sides. So this is where we might feel a difference. So set up properly. Heel. And then toe. So you're not kind of just slipping, sliding that foot. You're purposely heel, down. Toes are pulling up towards your knee. Toes down. Heel down. Toe down. Heel down. Fabulous. And this is going to help you as well. You know, when you're going up and down the stairs, if you do, hopefully you won't start tripping up over your toes. Or if you find yourself stumbling over your own feet, this movement, especially pulling the toes up, will help you to be able to lift your feet, toes up over an object.
So if you can see any of the other participants, you'll notice that some are already standing, and that's fine too. So at some point we'll encourage everyone to stand on a good day. But those that are standing are those that may have already done the program with us. So today is seated predominantly, unless you feel the desire to stand.
And we're back to the heel pump to recover and to keep you warm. Lovely. And then I'm going to show you one is seated, but I will stand up then and show you the equivalent in standing. So we're going to send our shoulders in a circle. So think about shoulders, chin is tucked in, and make that movement so your feet are nice and wide, right to the edges of that movement. So a big circle, you're going to go one way and then the other way. And if you're in standing, I'll show you, don't stand up if you're sitting, because we're going to walk through that as well. If you're in standing already, hands on your hips, bend through the knees, and it's a half a circle forwards to the side, center, side, forwards, side, center. So alternating sides. Okay, so working through the back and the hips, the lower back. And you get a little stretch in the front of your hips as well. Now, if you don't soften your knees, you're going to be really stiff. So bend those knees and see how much further you can go. Lovely. Quite nice, isn't it? We always say like you've got half a hula hoop. Lovely, excellent.
And do you know what else happens? Sometimes you just stop exercising just to watch what's going on.
And that's
And if you're sat still,
You know who I'm talking to.
And back to your feet. So we're going to run through, because the next part would be endurance. So the next part is getting you a little bit out of breath. But first of all, we're going to run through how you stand up properly. So again, you might want to watch. If you're not new to us and you want to practice, crack on a little hip walk.
So Pat's going to do a silent demo to start with. So you watch. And then I'm going to talk you through it, what she's doing. So she starts at the very back of her chair. And she starts with good posture and sitting up and a hip walk forward. So this will become really part of your daily activities. When she's at the front third of her chair, her heels are tucked backwards. She knows she's going up, so she's going to squeeze those bottom muscles as she rises to a stand. Now notice at the top of the movement, she's marching and using her arms. And the reason why this bit's so important is that the blood tends to sit in your feet and can make you feel a little bit dizzy. So it's important when you rise to a stand to always pump your feet. So, and that simply just squeezes the blood flow quickly back to your heart to make sure that you don't ever feel dizzy, and we don't want that. So the next thing that happens, lovelies, is listen to your body. So instead of looking for the chair, I want you to just take a couple of little jiggles back until the back of your legs touch the back of the chair. So feel the chair on the back of your legs. Then and only then do you stick your tush out and sit right back into the back of the chair. Beautiful. Okay, and then you're going to repeat that. So it's a hip walk forward, heels tuck back, propel yourself upwards and pump, 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 pump. Lovely. That is the law. Keep going, David. You're doing really well. Once you've done enough heel pumps, you shuffle backwards until you feel, we're not looking for the chair, we're feeling the chair on the back of your legs. Then and only then did you sit down. Well done. Over to you, Pat.
Right, so we are going to come up to standing if you want to today. If you want to stay in seated, we'll show you those options as well. So up to standing, pump the heels at the top, that's the law. And then you can either have a chair in front of you as well, or most of you will want to walk around the back of the chair and just come behind to have that chair ready to support you. And again, feet are wider than your hips. So there's a variety of ways that you can run through the course, through the session. So you can hold on with both hands, and we call that a full support. You might want to use a frame or your walking stick. If you need a walking stick, then sometimes the chair is better for you. So this is full support, but we ask you not to grip on for dear life. Okay, press down. You can also come to the side. So we might just need to, when we lift knees, for example, we might need to just come to the diagonal. You could also have two chairs. You could be between two chairs as well. Lots of options. So play around with it. Maybe practice when you're off the session. The other way is one hand. So you press down with one hand, and that's fine. The other one is just two hands, but fingertip touching. So just to ground you, really. You could have one hand, fingertip touching, or a hover, just in case. Okay, so we're going to just start with the march, and I'm going to come to a diagonal. And I'm lifting my knees in front of me. I'm coming to the diagonal on the chair.
Oh, right.
Just so that I don't, if I was in front of my chair, I'd be knocking my knees. So I'm at the diagonal because I only need to hold on with one hand or none. Okay, now the next thing to think about is, what are your feet doing? So are you putting them down flat-footed, or are you peeling them up like we practiced earlier? If you're popping them down flat-footed, just work through that movement by lifting the knee up in front of you and rolling through the foot. Excellent. Fabulous. Then we're going to start with a little tap to the side, but slightly forward. So if I'm in front of my chair, for example, I'm just tapping towards the chair leg.
So at this point in the session, we're starting to expect you to feel a little bit breathless. This is called endurance, which means that your heart muscle, which just like your bum muscles and your thigh muscles and your arm muscles, it needs a bit of work. So this is all designed to keep your heart muscle strong, okay? If at any time you have the desire to sit down or you feel breathless, we expect you to feel breathless, but if you need to rest, please rest.
Okay, I'm going to come back to my recovery part, which is just a small heel pump. Okay, this is your recovery. So breathe, relax your shoulders. And then we're going to come. So I want you to watch first of all. I want you to watch my hands. Watch my feet. So I'm sliding my hands across the chair. So I've always got something if I need to have something to support me.
And this is where confidence starts to grow. So there's lots of sneaky little hints and tips that we put in the program that will help you build your confidence.
If I'm sitting, I'm just tapping one foot out and then the other. Or if you've got that range of movement, you could tap together, tap together. See how you go. You might need to make it smaller. You do what suits you, what works for you. And we keep going. Think about your posture as well. So how is your posture as you're doing this? Have you kind of collapsed a little bit? Tuck your bottom under. Stand up. Think about your posture. Open up through those collarbones again. Draw your belly in. There's a lot to think about. And breathe. Lovely. And as we're stepping, it sounds so simple, but you lift your heel up, put your toe down heel. So you're peeling up your feet and then rolling them back down. Lovely. And then we come back to the march. Just a heel march.
Colin, you okay? Colin, thumbs up.
Lovely. Okay, we're going to come to a little knee bend. And this doesn't have to be deep. Again, watch, keep your feet pumping while you're watching me. My feet are wider than my hips. I'm just going to bend my knees towards my chair. I'm sticking my bottom out. Squeeze through my bottom, my thighs to push up. And then I go again. So it's like a concertina. Squeeze to the top and squeeze your bottom at the top. So small movements to start with. Really small. Take your time. Think about just knees forward, bottom back.
Eye gaze forward, not downwards. Eye gaze forward, not downwards.
So if you're sitting, the option here is what we call a bunny hop or a jockey jump. So as if you were standing up, your feet are behind you. I'm going to lean forward, I'm looking forwards, and then I'm looking up as I just lift my bottom off the chair. Just to squeeze through the thighs and the bottom. And this can be quite hard work, actually. Push and push. And it's important not to look down, because the only way to go is forwards and down. So forwards and up. Think about that momentum in your body. Forwards and up. Sit down. Forwards and up. And last time. And then come back to your heel march. So recovery. I'm so good at this.
Totally enjoying this.
Okay, little heel pump. So think about how you're feeling. How breathless are you? How are your energy levels? And we talk about energy levels from naught is you've just got out of bed and you've got lots of energy. 10 is you've just done a marathon and you're absolutely worn out. We want you about a 5 or a 6. So you're okay, you're a bit puffed out, but you could still carry on. Okay, so last one in endurance is a knee lift. So watch first, keep going with your heel pump. I'm lifting my knees up. I'm putting my feet down as I've just told you. So use the support you need to. Lift up. Posture check. Try not to collapse through your chest or your shoulders. If you're in seated, this is where you come back in your chair and then lift, because that's quite strong. If I was to actually lift there, that's quite hard. So a rest back, lift the knees.
Jess, you're doing really well today.
He's been doing his homework, he's been practicing.
Yes.
Oh,
Violet's disappeared. I hope she's all right.
has she gone for a cup of tea?
John's in and out. He's like the hokey pokey
Okay,
today.
we'll have a cup of tea later. Okay, and rest up, lift your heels. Oh, grab a drink of water if you, oh no, not yet, sorry. We need to bring you down. So we need to bring your heart rate levels down safely. So we're going to step again. Just a slow step to the side. If I was to stop then, you might feel a bit dizzy because your heart rates are higher. So we need to bring them down. Nice and not gently, safely. So, and then we come into our favorite moods in the moment. Come onto the spot and just march. Relax your shoulders. You've done endurance, so well done. We're going to take our feet wide, wider than hips, and take our weight one side, then the other into our wide-based sway, which is lovely. You can do this anywhere. And you should do it everywhere. Just do it. You can lift one hand. Push your palm up towards the ceiling. You could go both hands to one side. So we're lifting the hands to the side that you're leaning. Okay, so press up, lean to the left, press to the left. Lean to the right, press. We love this movement. It's fabulous. Okay, only one hand. Press, press. And then no hands, you can shake your shoulders, your hands. If you're not used to doing this, sometimes it can be quite tiring. So now is the time you can grab a quick drink as we go into balance. So we're just going short today because we haven't got lots of time left and we want to just show you some of the bits. Okay. So balance is improved by working on those movements that you find difficult and challenging. But it's really important to keep you safe in this part. So if at any time you feel wobbly, take your feet wide. That's your safest standing position with wide feet or a staggered stance, okay? So we're going to just start with standing by the chair. You can have 2 chairs, so just watch to start with. And I'm going to take one foot in front of the other. And I'm just going to rock my weight backwards and forwards, keeping both feet still then. So we might need to change camera.
To what?
Feet. Lovely. So you can see that my feet, one is in front of the other. Now, some of you won't be able to do that. So the option is to be in a narrow base, feet, right, my instep is towards, is,
No, it's the other one.
My instep is by the joints, okay? So if you're not comfortable putting one foot in front of the other, then that's fine. So there's options. If you're seated, exactly the same. So rocking forwards and back, lifting the toes at the front as my weight is on the back foot, weight comes on the front foot, lift the heel. And there's a little gap between my heel and my toe. How's your posture? Where are you looking? Are you looking down at your feet? No, 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 you have to look forwards. Okay, how is the pressure on your chair or on whatever's supporting you? These are things to notice and to write down, because you think in a few weeks' time you'll go, oh, I've not really improved, but you might see these things. You might recognize them if you write them down. Okay, we're going to take a step out wide to recover. Okay, so a nice wide step, steady. Now we're going to use the other side. So we're going to take the other foot forward. You might say, well, it's the same thing. It's not. So you can either walk around the other side of the chair or move your furniture. So the other foot is going to come forwards. And sometimes, you know, we have one side that's weaker or more dominant than the other. Then you might well feel it in your bottom, in your hip, in your thigh, the back of your thigh, as we take this back leg behind us. So use those options. If this feels too much, take your feet in really close. Keep the knees soft. What do we mean by soft? We'll say this a lot. We mean don't lock your knees out. So don't have really stiff knees ever. It's not nice on your kneecaps and it can be uncomfortable. So a slight bend in the knees. And it takes some getting used to, but actually it's really good for your muscle tone. It's really good for your control. So again, we're lifting the heel, and then we're lifting the toes, in the heel. How are you this side? Does it feel different? Is this the side you need to work on a little bit more? If you do, that's fine. Okay, how do we come out of this? We're going to step wide. Lovely. And then come back to your starting position. Now, I'm going to change my chair. We're going to just work on steps. So I'm going to work on that first leg, and I'm going to step forwards and out. Step to the center. Good. So you can join in. Again, same in seated, exactly the same. You might just need to make sure you're on the front third of your chair. So what can you see? Have a look at my feet. I step out. Where do I set myself? Back to that base of support that is steadying. It's going to keep me safe. Step out to center. Step out. And then we're going to change. So this time we're going to step out to the side and come back with a gap to the side. And I don't want you to kind of like overreach so you're holding on, pulling on the chair. Just do it within a comfortable range of movement. Step out. And this becomes what we call your compensatory step. So for example, if you were to be standing somewhere and you to wobble, you would step out to the side or to the diagonal to recover, to stop you falling if you were to have a bit of a wobble.
Sal, you know I'm talking to you. Sal, I'm wondering if it'd be better that you have two chairs side by side so you're conserving energy as you're switching from right leg to left leg. So we'll try that next session. Okay, cool.
So we're changing sides, so going on the other leg. And again, if you wanted the chair in front of you, you could do this one here or to the side. So right base, step out to the diagonal. and coming back to that base of support that is steady. Good. Let's do one more. And then let's go to the side. So step side. So we've already warmed your hips up by stepping sideways. This time we're taking the weight onto the leg. So it's slightly different. And coming back to. You will get used to it if you're new. Step out. And then that knee bends. As you step out. Good, good. And one more if you can. And hold it there. Give us a thumbs up if you're okay. If you need to sit, have a sit down. We'll just do a little bit of, actually we need to do a little stretch. And a little bit of Tai Chi. And then we'll stop. And then you're done. Okay, so let's come to seated position.
So what are the rules?
What are your rules? Walk to the front of the chair. Eye gaze forwards. Feel the chair behind your knees, both your knees. Stick your bottom out, slowly down. Don't be a plopper or a plonker. Slowly down. Ah, give yourself a pat on the back.
Well done, team.
Fabulous. Great effort. Lovely. So normally we would go into some strength. So you do need in the next few, well, for the course, you will need a lovely stretchy band, TheraBand, physio band. If you need one, please send me an email and we'll post one off to you. We do lots of movements, lots of strength exercises with the bands. They're brilliant, lovely pieces of equipment. So for now, we're going to stretch you, because once we've worked out some of your muscles, we need to stretch you so that you don't feel sore, and then we get much more movement from those lovely stretched muscles in future. So let's stretch the arms, but we want you at the front third of the chair. We're going to take one hand forwards and wiggle your fingers, palm down. And then palm up, touch your shoulder, so the same shoulder. Where are your feet? Are they narrow or are they nice and wide? Wiggle jiggle those fingers down towards the center of your shoulder blades. If you struggle, across your chest is fine. But we're trying to get that arm, you can give the elbow a nudge if you want to, and then just lift through the chest to get a bigger stretch. So what are we stretching here? The back of the arms, the triceps. And breathe. Notice where those fingers reach. Is it the shoulder, the neck, top of the shoulder blades, the center? Then we're going to take that arm up if you can. This is where you need your feet wide, and send your arm, hand over your head, whichever direction that might be. So just over your head. Just a little way, and then come out of it by rolling forwards. Lovely. Other side. Wiggle those fingers. Turn the palm up. Fingers to the shoulder. Lift that elbow, and it might not be the same one side to the other. That's fine. If you need to give it a little nudge, you can. And then lift up through the chest. And breathe and smile. You're nearly done. Feet should be nice and wide.
Lovely faces.
Arms up. If that's all you want to do today, or you don't have to take your arm up, that's fine. Take that hand over your head, just a little way, stretching through the waist.
Excellent, Roger. Good.
Let's take both the hands to the back of the chair or into the lower back, whichever you prefer. And then send the elbows towards each other. So from here, Squeeze the elbows, and then you can just lift your chin a little bit, so you're looking up to the ceiling, not too much, don't overextend, don't exaggerate it. And breathe. This is where you hold your breath. We don't want you to hold your breath. And relax, release. Then we stretch out the legs. We're going to take one leg away. So this foot comes forwards to steady me. This leg, the heel touches the floor, the toes point up to the ceiling, not out to the side. Hands on the thigh. And then it's a little hinge. So I want you to think about keeping your spine nice and long. So not curving, not curling through the spine, because you won't stretch the back of the leg. And you should feel that in the back of the knee, the back of the thigh. I want you to keep that heel there and sit up. Relax the foot off and then squeeze the toes up towards the knee. And that, you should feel that stretching into the calf.
Can you feel that? Yeah?
Make sure your
Good.
toes up to the ceiling. Okay, let's change sides. So other foot, somewhere where it will support you. Other heel down. Hands on the thigh, not the knee, thigh. Hinge from the hips. Breathe. Oh, I can feel that. It's nice. Toes are pointing up. Keep the heel there. Then we lift up, relax the foot off. And then squeeze the toes up towards the knee. For a big fat calf stretch. Lovely. And then we're going to bring the feet back to a wide position. Sit forwards in your chair. We're going to just work on a couple of movements that form your Tai Chi, adapted Tai Chi. So relax your shoulders, send them back and down. Here we go. So both hands come up to the side in front of you. We take them to the side, drop one hand. The top hand comes in front of your face. And when it reaches the shoulder, you drop that hand, the other hand lifts. And then both hands cross the body at the same time. And then we swap at the side. And both hands. So we don't want you to be overreaching. This is within your own movements.
Lovely.
Breathing comes steadier. If we can't get it, it's fine. Don't worry, you can just do one hand at a time. This is slow and controlled. Imagining there's a cloud just traveling across your face. Just breathing gently. One side to the other. Lifting and lowering. Crossing the body. Just in front of your face. Excellent. And then hands come together. So fingertips come together just to your chest height and press them down. And with a breath out. Lift up. Press down. Lift up. Really slowly, couple more. And last one. And pop your hands on your thighs. If you want to pop your palms up, rest in the back of your chair. And we just close our eyes and work on the breath. We'll just listen to your breath. Just for 2 minutes. This brings you into a state of rest and digest. It allows your body to calm down. It allows your mind to calm down. And in these days of such stress and worry, it's really important for us to take just a few minutes every day to rest, recover, and be quiet and still. With no pressure or tension to do anything, to be anywhere, go anywhere. And if you can close your eyes, you take away all those triggers around you. And you might hear some noises around you in the room, that's fine. Just acknowledge them and let them go. Just recognise them as being a part of everyday life. But for you right now, they don't need to bother you. Just let them be. And just notice your breath and how the breath moves your ribs out and in. So as you breathe in, your ribs rise. And as you breathe out, your ribs fall back in. In a good way, you can make this a bit stronger, a bit more useful. Can be to just direct that breath down into your belly. So when you breathe in, your belly rises. And as you breathe out, your belly falls. And sometimes it helps to just pop your hands on your belly. With that breath in, the belly rises. Breath out, the belly falls. Just feel your body relaxing and resting, recovering a little bit more with each breath. And then we move the toes. Wiggle the toes. Start to lift the foot, toes, the heels. Maybe start to make a fist or wiggle your fingers. Open your eyes. Away from the back of the chair again, wakening your body up. Coming into a heel pump again. Roll through the shoulders. You can have a little stretch or a big stretch if you need to. Oh, and a yawn. And then we put our hands together and give yourself a round of applause for your first week of Move More. So well done. Please let us know how you got on. Send us an email or message. Let us know how you got on and if we can help you in any way. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Take care.